Going over a lot in fellowship. We've been going over a lot in friendships, and we stopped in for a while to around the Easter time to go over a couple of things around Easter, and then now we are picking it back up. And we've been talking about relationships the last couple of weeks, and now we're going to be able to close it out. Now we're going to be able to close out this relationship series, and we'll visit this again one more time somewhere in the near future. We'll be able to come back to this. We'll be able to go back into something like this, but I just want to be able to establish this right here, right now, with youth group and just talking about what does it mean to be dating? What does it mean to be in a relationship? Again, whether you're in middle school, whether you're in high school, whether you're in college, whether you're out of college and now you're in your young adult life and now you're trying to figure out, okay, what does it mean for me now to go out and work? Or what does it mean for me to go into a graduate program? Or what does it mean for me to just start figuring out what am I going to do in this life? We all know that relationships are all around us. I mean, you see people every day, whether they're married, whether they're dating, you have friends, you maybe have family, and you know their significant other. We see it. It's not a secret that people are out there dating, but there's a correct way to do this. There's a correct way for us to go about this. And again, I've made this very clear on how I feel that young people and dating, I feel like it's not something that should be happening, but we're going to explain why, because I'm going to go over several verses with you right now. And we're going to see, because we're not worried about what the world's doing right now. We're not worried about what's happening in our society right now. We're not talking about, okay, us versus the world right now. We're talking about specifically right now, what does God call us to be? A light to the world. And if we're lights, if we're examples for Him, if we're examples of being with Christ, then we got to be in every aspect of our life. And that includes at some point dating. That includes at some point understanding the concept of being in a relationship, understanding what does it mean to actually like somebody, and being able to work through that and being able to work into actually having a successful relationship. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly as much as I can for this evening. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to start off with this really quick. I want to show you something super. It's again, I like to bring things that are ridiculous. I like to bring things that are just kind of like, why would you even bring that in here? But I just like to kind of get our brains just thinking a little bit more, just trying to get ourselves a little bit more like, okay, that's what he's trying, that's the point he's trying to make. All right, so on this slide that I have coming up, I'm going to show you just several little examples really quick, and it's something, like I said, pretty simple. Simple equations, simple little things that we can solve together here. All right, let me show you this. So at the top of the corner, who knows what 2 plus 2 is? 4. All right, we got that. 10 plus 10? 20. Okay, 6 minus 2? 4. And 5 minus 0? I heard some people a little bit skeptical. 5? No. Yeah, okay, you got him. All right, simple. Jake has 5 cookies. He ate 1. How many does he have left? 4, okay? These are little problems that we can talk about with first grade. In my first grade class, the kids that we see, some of the problems that they get on this program called Dreambox. This is a program that they use to kind of help develop independent math skills. They'll see little simple word problems like this. And so you give them to most of the first graders. They're pretty good at like 2 plus 2 is what? If I have 2 and I give you 2 more, they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Got it. Something on the right side you're going to see is a little writing prompt, a little reading prompt that I kind of see them sometimes get when they take this little test to kind of measure their reading levels. And some of the kids that read very well in that lower grade level, like in that kinder first grade era, the really good readers will be able to read this really fast. So it says the cat is big, it is gray. The cat can jump, the cat likes to nap. What color is the cat? Gray. What can the cat do? Jump. And what does the cat like? Napping. All right, super easy, super simple. This is first grade level work. Okay, this is something that if I were to give pretty much the majority of my first graders, a lot of them would be able to independently work on this without any issue at all whatsoever. I give them little things like this and it challenges their brain a little bit and they're like, oh, I have fun with this because I can do something like that by myself. Cool. Now I'm going to go on to something, and it's just, again, ridiculous, I know. Let's go to the next slide, and you're going to see at the top right here. I don't know if anyone can solve that for me really quick, if you guys get a chance at the top. I looked this up, and I was trying to figure out what is probably something a little bit more complex to kind of figure out when it comes to math. And this is something that came out, and I was like, let me snip that, let me take that really quick. I don't know how to explain this part right here. I don't know how to even talk about that really quick. And there's a little paragraph at the bottom that doesn't relate to the math problem, but I kind of want to keep your eyes on the math problem right there, and I'm going to read this really quick. It says, if it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, but this blow might be the be and all and the end all here. But here upon this bank and shoal of time we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here. That we but teach bloody instructions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poised chalice to our own lips. Does anyone understand what I'm saying at all? A little bit? No? This is an excerpt from the play Macbeth. This is a Shakespearean part of Macbeth right here. Okay? Can I give this? Should I give this to my first grade students and they can tell me what is happening in Macbeth and what's happening in this math problem here? Should I give it to them? I don't think so. All right, I don't think so. I wouldn't give this to myself right now, to be honest. I wouldn't have myself dissecting into this information. But this is an excerpt from Macbeth, what I just read right now. And the top one right there is something I found that they give calculus level students, whether you're in high school or you're going into college, and the ones that really want to go into it, they're kind of like, ooh, that's like a beautiful thing. I know Christy back there is kind of like, let me solve that real quick because I solve that math problem. She loves math. The reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because if you compare it to what you saw first, if I give that to a child, if I give the first part to a child, if I show them 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 10 minus 10. If I show them the cat is gray, if I show them those little things, they can answer those things for me. But if I show them this, what are they going to say? Or what would you say this looks? It looks a little hard. It looks a little complicated. All right, let's turn really quick into, I want to go into then, I'm going to explain the reason why for all of this stuff really quick. But we're going to go into 1 Corinthians chapter 13. I'm going to read a little bit tonight. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And I'm going to go all the way down to, let me see where it's at. I'm going to read from 1 Corinthians 13, starting in verse number 4, and I'm going to go all the way, almost pretty much towards the bottom, but I think I'm going to stop around verse 11. So it says here, charity suffereth long and is kind, charity envieth not, charity vaunteth not itself, it is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemingly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but where there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. This verse 11 is what I'm going to stamp at really quick, is what we're talking about. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Basically, what this is telling us in 1 Corinthians 13 is this. It's telling us that love never fails. It tells us that love is patient. It's kind. It doesn't envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. Love is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. Okay, it always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, it perseveres. Love perseveres. It says where there be prophecies, they're going to stop at some point. Okay, things will come and go, but love will pretty much stay all the time. Love will never fail. And then in verse 11, again, just trying to stamp this. He talked about love really quick. You have Paul talking about love, and then you're going to see pretty much in verse 11, it says, when I was a child, I talked as a child. I what? I thought as a child, and I reasoned like a child. I acted like a child. And then he says, when I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. Talking about this really quick, I know the fact that we're not in a room full of people who are babies. We're not children. We're not little ones like I have that I teach in my classroom. All right, now we don't have those here right now. When I show you the two examples that are at the top, when I show you the easy math problems and then I show you the more complicated ones, you would not give those complicated ones to children, to babies. You would not give my first grade class that type of excerpt from Macbeth. You would not give them that math problem because it's what? It's too complicated. It's too hard. It's too hard. So the same thing goes when it comes to us, when we have to think of it the same way in dating. Okay, you're looking at that problem like it's a little difficult. You're looking at that problem like it's kind of hard. But guess what? Because you don't give it to children. We don't give dating to children. We don't give dating to babies. We don't give dating. We don't give relationships to those that cannot handle it. I'm not saying if you can solve these things, you can go straight into a relationship. What I'm saying is you got to think like that for just a moment. When you are a child, you talk, you reason, you act like a child. But then when childhood is gone, then you start to act like an adult. When it comes to dating, when it comes to being able to be in a relationship, what we're talking about today, you have to realize something here. We're not here to be children in the dating world. We're here to be adults. And again, that's why I make it very clear on what I teach, what I talk about, what I try to emphasize to others. If you are not an independent right now, if you're not somebody who is, in my opinion, 18 and older, who is looking to start, in the workplace and looking to kind of drive themselves and looking to kind of say, I can move myself around from different places to place, then you're not just ready for that relationship just yet. But what are we doing here? We're getting you ready to be able to take that step. We're getting you ready to understand how you can have the most successful, God-like, beautiful relationship with another person in the right way. So we don't learn, we don't make the mistakes that maybe you see your friends making, or maybe your parents have told you they made a mistake, or you hear from other people that'll tell you it's because I've gone through so many different relationships and it's been such a wreck, it's been a mess. Why is that? Why do you think people go through so many relationships? And we see it in high school, we see it in middle school, we see it all around us. You're going to hear your friends, you're going to hear people tell you it's because the relationships were difficult because I went through a scarring relationship. Why? Because they went straight to the math, they went straight to the heart problems. They acted like a child, but they were not ready for the adult problem. They are children. When I was a child, I thought as a child, I acted like a child, but then why did you try to take on an adult type of problem? My first graders don't ask me, sir, give me that Macbeth excerpt. Give it to me. Like, let me have that. Let me dissect that. No. They're like, just give me something that's around my age, my range, and then I'm going to start working towards it. We need to realize something really quick as we go on, is understanding the fact that when we hear that verse, when we hear Paul talk to us in that way, he's describing what love is like. He's describing the acts of it. None of those acts that you see in what he described, it doesn't envy, it's not jealous, it is not this, not. The things he's describing are the way children act at times. It's childish behavior if we were to describe love, if it were to be that way. But he says it's not. Love is patient. Children sometimes are not. Babies are not patient. Love is kind. Children can be kind of cruel and brutal when they come to their words. They might tell you something straight up front. Your hair looks funny today. And I'm kind of like, well, thanks. It's like, I had one of them tell me one time, they were like, because I stopped putting gel and I let my hair grow. They were like, sir, you don't look as bald with, now. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that comment because you know what? You're saying I have more hair than what I did when I put my gel on. I'm like, awesome, perfect, thank you. I appreciate it. They're brutal sometimes. They can be they don't watch their words sometimes. They're just going to tell you as it is. They just kind of say it. It happens at times. We're talking about understanding what love is, what a relationship is, what it entails, what it has. We cannot be children in a relationship. And because I want to tell you right now, it's complicated, or is it? I want to give us some key points tonight. I want to give us 10 key points tonight, really quick, really fast, really quickly. And it's going to be a lot of moving around on this. It's going to be just a lot of motion in this because I want to give us 10 key concepts as to how we can make dating non-complicated, uncomplicated, not complicated. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be something hard. And I'm talking to a lot of us that are already in that young adult phase. And if we're not there yet, if you're part of the youth group, if you're the ones in middle school, in high school, I want you guys to take very good, clear note of this because I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about, understand what I'm talking about. So when that time comes, when that time happens, when you finally get to that age where you're like, yes, I understand. Like, that's what he was talking about. That's when I can start. You'll have all the keys to success in this area. Because you're going to hear something like this. What happens when you hear your friends, I'll give you an example. When they come and ask you, hey, so are you talking to that guy or not? What do we reply with sometimes? It's kind of complicated. Like, I don't know. Like, am I or am I not? Is he interested in you or is he not? I don't know. I can't tell. Whoa, did he call you the other day? Yeah, he did. Well, so what about it? It's complicated. Same thing. Hey, dude, did she call you? Did she text you? Did she give you a number? It's kind of complicated. It doesn't have to be. Right now, we're thinking from the perspective of what? We're thinking from the perspective of when I was a child, I thought as a child, put that away, here comes adulthood. Here comes the ability to be able to think, if I want to be in that relationship, if I want to get ready for dating, I got to start putting away certain things and start acting a certain way. 10 key points really quick for tonight. We're going to go with the first one really quick. Don't date just for fun. I'm not saying dating can't be fun. But listen to what I'm telling you right now. Don't date just for fun. This is the thing right now when it comes to guarding your heart, when it comes to honoring with love, when it comes to what Proverbs 4 teaches us, when it comes to what those little things are telling us, that we don't go around playing with each other's hearts. We don't go around playing with each other's emotions. We don't go around texting other people. We don't go around starting to kind of flirt and then kind of start, kind of giving them a little bit of okay, is it not? And then only to kind of drop them and tell them, nah, never mind. I actually was never interested in the first. I was just trying to play a little game with you. We don't date just for fun. Dating is fun. Dating leads to a world where you can enjoy fun with another person. But we're not dating just for the fun of it. It's like going to the airport. It's like going somewhere when you go to the airport, you're going to go what? To get on a plane and travel somewhere. You're going to go somewhere. You're looking to say, I got to go from here to here. No one goes to the airport just to walk around and go, what are you doing here? You don't have a flight. I just like walking around the stores. Wait a second. Isn't that what the mall's for? Well, yeah, that's what the mall's for. So then go to the mall. No, I just want to walk around the airport. You're not going to get on a plane you didn't buy a ticket? No. I'm just kind of sitting around here for the fun of it. No one does that. It doesn't make sense. There's other things you can do in order to have fun. The same thing goes, if I'm giving you that example, it's kind of it doesn't make sense. Where are you going? Exactly my point. Someone going to an airport without a flight, it's the same thing as people dating just for fun. They're going nowhere. The ultimate thing that we're looking for when you think about dating is you're trying to figure out, trying to figure out, is this person the person that I want to marry at some point or not? And it sounds kind of crazy because it's not supposed to be just that, okay, you date one person, that's the person you're going to stay with, like that's it. As Christians, it's only a one-time, one deal. If you date more than one person, your life is kind of like, you're disobeying God. That's not what we're talking about. What I'm saying is, if you do this the right way, it makes it so much easier to be able to go on a date with somebody when your mentality is, I want to be able to successfully find somebody. I want to be able to successfully find somebody that I can one day say, that'll be my spouse, that'll be my husband or my wife. If your mindset is just dating because you just want to go out there and because everyone's doing it, you're going to play with someone's emotions. You're going to play with somebody's heart. They're going to play with your emotions. They're going to play with your heart. There'll be temptations. There'll be things that you're not ready for. And all because what? Because we didn't have that little plan in mind of thinking, what am I dating for in the first place? Why am I going to the airport in the first place? I got a flight to where? If you don't got a flight to go anywhere, don't go. Otherwise, you're just going to be watching everyone come and go, planes come and go, everyone successfully boarding and leaving. Because why? They have the ability to say, that's where I'm going. And if you're going to date just for fun, you're going nowhere. Dating will be fun. Having fun with another person, being able to share laughs and good times and just being able to go out with and just share one-to-one conversations with is going to be like on a whole different level. But you have to realize that dating is not just because, we do it for whatever reason, like just because we want to, just because we're bored. Dating is designed to help you get ready for marriage. If you don't see a marriage in your future, which again, that's why I tell you right now, if you're, younger, if you're not out of high school yet, if you're not into college just yet, you got to put the brakes on it a little bit because you're still trying to get by and, you're still trying to finish off the school year. We're not thinking about marriage just yet. We're not thinking, we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen next year. What sport am I going to try out for? What am I going to be part of? Let's put marriage on the brakes really quick. And that's why I say dating is not for just any child, any person, for us to just go and try. Don't date just for fun. Let's be very careful with that. Second point really quick. Oh, now this is where I'm going to get a little bit more into it. This is where I'm going to start saying things, all right? Men, guys, you have to ask women out on dates. Guys, I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you this. You have to ask the girl on the date. We're going to talk about what happens if the girl asks you out. Let's put that on the side for right now. But guys, come on. And I know I'm only talking to a few of them here right now, but anyone watching the live stream too, I'm telling you right now, I look straight at the camera right here like that. I'm saying right now, you have to be willing to take that little leap of risk. Guys, we're spiritual heads of the home. Guys, we were designed by God to be leaders. We were designed by God to be able to be the person that is designed in the household to lead the family. That was God's design for the man. That he would lead his family, that he would be able to go in there and protect his family, that he would be a leader, a guardian. He'd be somebody that they can look up to for wisdom, for guidance, for all those things. You can't let the girls scare you into not asking them out. Guys, we have to start asking girls out on dates. And I want to be very clear with this too. You also have to have a specific plan with you. You cannot go up to a girl and tell her, what are you doing on this? Are you busy next week? She's going to ask you, okay, well, maybe, I don't know, I haven't checked that far into what my schedule shows, what are you trying to say? You have to be up clear, you have to be up front and say, guess what? Hey, I want to take you out on a date. I want to go with you to, I want to do this. Can we go to the movies? Can we go, out for lunch? Can we do this? Can we do that? Guys, you have to be willing to be able to take that step and say, I want to take you out on a date, and lay out the plan as to what your plan is. Obviously, you're not looking to go halfway across the country on a date and say, yeah, we're going to travel the world together over the next, 5 months. What I'm saying is just be willing to show them, hey, I have a plan. I have a plan to show you. I have a plan. This is my idea of taking you on a date. I want to go out next Saturday and I want to be able to go and maybe, if you guys are recreational people, like sports people, hey, you can tell them, hey, I want to go out there and I want to play this sport with you. I want to try this. Can we try that? I got a group of people that want to try. Can I go on let's go on a date. Let's go try that. Okay, absolutely. But show them that you have a plan. Don't just go in there and just ask them so what are you doing? It's are you busy? Are you not? No. You have to be willing to go out there and show them, hey, I'm responsible enough. I'm ready enough. I'm here ready to kind of tell you, I want to be able to take you somewhere one-on-one so we can have a good conversation. We can have a good time because I'm interested in you. I'm interested in something happening here between us. All right, you have to be willing to be able to take that step, guys. It's not going to happen, at times just because, you look at the other person, you're kind of you, me, yeah, okay, I got you. Let's do it. There has to be some type of communication. And guys, let me say this too. You have to be willing to ask, very importantly, godly women out on a date. Okay, I'm not saying they have to be a perfect Christian. There's no such thing as a perfect Christian. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you have to be seeing that the person that you're going to be asking out, guess what? We are not children. Okay, we're talking about dating. We're going to move out of that type of mentality. Guess what? When I was a child, I thought as a child, but guess what? We're moving into a dating world. I now act more like an adult. Guess what? You're the light to the world. You're the light on top of the hill that Christ is saying. You're the salt of the earth. You are the ones that are my call. I've called you, so I need you to do something for me. Christ is telling you, I need you to follow my examples. And guess what? He's telling us here, you got to date somebody that's is willing to understand pretty much what are you doing here in church. What are your beliefs? What do you stand for? Guys, start asking godly women out on dates. Don't go looking for her just based on looks, and because you look at a girl and you're like, oh, she's pretty enough, let me just go ask her. No, you got to be willing to think beyond that. You got to be willing to think, this is not just about, again, that's dating for the fun. That's just dating because you want to go and because you see a pretty girl, you're thinking, do I have a chance with her? Do I not? No. We're talking about what is dating designed for, to kind of get us set up and ready for marriage. You got to be thinking about asking somebody who's willing to settle with you on the beliefs that you have, that's willing to understand who are you as a Christian. Okay? Point 3, ladies, say yes to the dates. Say yes. You're not saying yes to anybody. If I ask guys to say you're going to ask out godly women, ladies, you should be looking for godly men. You should be looking for a godly man to come into your life, for somebody who is a Christian to come into your life and is going to show you exactly what it means to be a Christian. Okay, but ladies, we got to start saying yes. There's none of this let's hide around it, let's kind of beat around it, let's kind of like a maybe, maybe not, oh, I'll let you know. And then start leading them on, and you're kind of like, yeah, we're kind of going to go out, but I kind of want to do things on my conditions, like right here, like I'm going to kind of show him like this, and then it's kind of like, okay, then you guys are kind of stuck in a certain position where guess what? It gets complicated. Because did you want to go out with him? I mean, no, not really. Then why did you tell him yes? No, I kind of told him we'll see. Well, what does that mean, we'll see? Ladies, you got to start saying kind of yes too. A guy comes up to you, he's Christian, godly man. He's ready to, he wants to come to you. He's like, hey, can I take you on a date? You know what? I don't feel like right now, the Lord is leading me to this. And we start making up things because why? We got scared. Hey, give it a chance. Give it a chance. Then we wonder, we're praying, both men and women. This is both to guys and girls. We're praying, Lord, you got to bring that guy into my life. Lord, you got to bring that man into my life. Bring him. Here he comes. And you open the door, and he's like, can I take you out? No, slam the door. Lord, I don't, why aren't they coming, Lord? Why aren't they happening? You didn't give him a chance to say, you didn't give him a chance to lay out the proposal there and say, hey, you know what? I want to take you out on a date. Let's go out. And then the ladies are over here, and I'm telling you right now, because, it happens. They're kind of like saying, I just can't find a guy in my life. I can't. Wait a second. Has anyone ever showed interest? I don't think so. I can kind of point out several people here and there. Did you even give them the opportunity to even tell you, hey, this is what I want to do? No, because I just felt like, you know what, I just felt that calling. Are you sure you're not making up excuses and saying that you're using God as an excuse? Be careful with that. We give God a little too much credit sometimes. I heard Brother Ellison say that one time. Can't give God too much credit, because then we start blaming him on everything, even the problems that we get. No, it's the Lord's not letting me. God's sitting up in heaven. God's going, wait a second. I brought this person into your life. Why are you claiming that I'm pushing them out? Don't use me as an excuse. God's saying, don't start using me for everything, including the little things that you're just trying to find a cop-out from. You got to be careful with that. Ladies, if he's not asking you out on a date, if he's kind of just being a little bit beating around the bush, ask him clear and up front, are you asking him out on a date? The guy gets scared. The guy starts to shake like this. Got to be careful with that one, because you know what? He's got to have the strength. He's got to have the courage. He's got to have the bravery to be able to walk up and say, I want to take you out on a date. Guys, don't beat her. I'm going to tell you right now, don't beat around the bush and start trying to figure out, is there a way that I can say this on it? It's a date. It's a date. It's a date. And ladies, if he's not being upfront, if he's not being direct, if he's not saying that he wants to take you on a date, have the courage to just put him in his place and tell him, are you asking me out on a date or not? Or are you just trying to figure out what's my schedule look like next week? Are you like a calendar person? It's kind of are you just obsessed with calendars because you want to know what's happening in 24 hours from now, 165 hours from now? Are you asking him out on a date or not? But again, I'm making these points very clear because we don't want to make this complicated. We don't want to make this a complicated issue. We don't want to make this a complicated topic. It doesn't have to be. But we ourselves make it complicated because why? If I give my first graders those hard problems, that math problem, what are they going to? They're going to make a mess of it because they're not ready for it. If we're not ready, if we're acting like children, we're going to make dating really, really complicated. We're going to make it more complicated when it has to be. It doesn't have to be. Guys, start asking. Ladies, start saying yes. And again, I tell you right now, godly people need to be in your life. You're not looking to go find the next bad boy out there. Guys, you're not trying to find the next girl out there. who's dressed in a certain way, who's looking a certain way, and they're going to act a certain way with certain guys, and you know that because they have a habit of being a little flirtatious, and ladies, you know the guy has a little bit of a temper, and you know that just kind of comes off a little cool and a little attractive just because he can stand up and look a little bit, you know, on the braver side, but then you know he's always in trouble with, you know, authorities, he's always in trouble with the guy, with, you know, the principal at school, he's always in trouble with, you know, the law, he's always in trouble doing certain things. You got to be careful with those. We're looking for godly men, we're looking for godly women. We're looking for those people that are going to exemplify Christ's light in and out of the church. Number 4, communicate intentionally and honestly. Communication is key. Oh, really quick. I'm going to go back to this really quick. Is there something wrong in the Bible? Does it say anywhere in Scripture? Anyone have any idea? Does it say anywhere in Scripture that a girl cannot ask a guy out? Does it say anywhere in Scripture that a lady cannot ask a guy out? No. Is it wrong for a girl to ask a guy out? Ladies, is it wrong for you to ask a guy out? No, it is not. But let me warn you of this really quick. Let me warn you of this. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not ideal. You need to find a guy who's willing to take that step and say, I want to ask you out, not the other way around. And here's why. I'm not trying to downplay, you know, ladies, your ability to be able to go up to a guy and ask them because you really want to give it a chance. What I'm saying is this. It kind of can lead to some red flags because then what? If you're going to be the one to ask, it might create a little momentum for him to start thinking there's a little passivity. Like there's a little bit of like, at some point, if we're dating for marriage, then he starts getting used to the idea of she's always just going to take charge. I don't have to. She's always going to be the one to take care of these things. I don't have to. Guys, that's not your role. You're in charge. I'm not saying you're the boss of the girl. What I'm saying is this, that God has called men to be leaders. Leaders are not the type to just let things happen just in the back and just kind of sit back and go, oh, they said they would take care of it. I'm going to let them take care of it. No. Be strong. Be upfront. Again, ladies, there's nothing wrong with you asking a guy out on a date. But be very careful. It's not an ideal thing. I don't believe it's something that should be happening, but only because certain things that it can lead to that will create problems later on. There's chances are that, you know, it won't. It might work out. Some it is very successful. I'm not here to talk about the ratio, you know, of like, you know, the success in that area. But what I'm saying is we just got to be very careful. That's why I'm saying right now the best ideal way to do it is for men to ask you out, is for men to be upfront and strong about it, and for ladies to be willing to say, okay, you know what? Let me see where he's going with this. Let me see how responsible he is. Let me see how he presents himself. Let me see how he introduces himself. Let me see how he acts around others. And let me see if this is a chance that I can give him to be able to go out on that date. Number 4 now. Communication has to be key from the it's been a very big thing from the very beginning when we talked about fellowship, the ability to talk to other people. Friendships, the ability to be able to talk to people. Relationships, the ability to be able to talk to somebody else. All right? If you're taking a girl on a date, you have to be very honest too, guys. If you go out on a date with a girl, guys, and you need to be very honest with them. If you're looking for a second date, you can let them know, hey, you know what? I like the way this went tonight. Would it be possible for me to be able to take you out on a second date? Would it be possible for me to be able to, you know, have you go out on a second date with me? If you're not interested, guys, if you don't like the way that date went, be honest with them. Be communicating with them. Hey, you know, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to take you out on a date. I don't know, you know, if it, you know, it's for us to try this again another time. You know, I'm not feeling it, you know, but thank you so much. I kind of don't want to continue this from here on out. Be upfront. Be honest with them. Ladies, the same thing. If you meet a guy and you feel like you're kind of like, it's because I might hurt his feelings if I tell him like, no, I don't want to do this again. You have to tell them in the honest truth, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much for allowing us to actually try this, but I am going to need some time to think about a second date if they ask you out on a second date. Be honest with them and tell them, I'm not sure right now. I don't know. I'm going to need a little bit of time. Or if you're for sure 100% you know because you felt it right there, tell them, but no thank you. Like, I'm sorry, but no thank you. It's better than you telling them, it's because I'm going to tell them that yes, but then on the second date, I'm going to act a certain way. I'm going to be a certain way. I'm going to kind of be cold a certain way. And then you're just playing with them. Be honest. Communication, you have to be intentional about it. You have to be honest about it. You have to be willing to be able to just, you know, not lie about what's going on, not lie about what's happening. Otherwise, you start to create bigger problems. Otherwise, you start to create just more and more, you know, and then, you know, just what happens along the line is you all start to get into really complicated situations where you're at the point where you're like, weren't you talking to that guy? Yeah, but it got complicated. Why did it get complicated? No one talked. No one was honest. The guy didn't want to take her out again, but he felt bad. Or the girl felt bad with telling him no, so she kind of just let him on, and she thought maybe the 4th or 5th date would go wrong. That's not what we're looking to do. Be honest. Say you need some time to think about this. Say you kind of just need a little bit of a moment to kind of like, you know, how do you feel about this? Be honest with them. Number 5, don't play games. Oh, now this one here, and I don't know why, I wish Christy hadn't walked out of the room really quick. I want to give this example because this is something we laughed about the other day. I think this is something we laughed about where we couldn't just stop laughing because we know it happens a lot. Like, we know people who do this a lot. Don't play games. This is the game I'm talking about. I don't know if you guys have ever, okay, I'm be honest in the room. You don't got to say anything, but I want you to think about it. You're texting a guy, ladies, or guys, you're texting a girl. But guess what? You forgot to text at some point, and you saw that they messaged you like 20 minutes ago. So you're like, oh, she's thinking I might have just left it. So you reply back. All right, guys, you reply back. And the lady sees it. So the girl's like, oh, he took 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I'll reply back. Leave it there. 30 minutes. He's going to feel it. 30 minutes, he's going to feel it. So what happens? After you leave him for 30 minutes, you reply back, and it's a couple little, emojis. It's a couple little sentences. It's a couple little words. So what does the guy do? She going to be like that? I'll give it an hour before I reply back. Let's give it an hour. Oh, now here it comes. Who's now the more competitive person of the two? Guess what? In 5 days, you've had like 3 little conversations because you guys are going days without texting, because you guys are going moments without texting, because you're deciding to do what? We decided to say one thing, 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I thought as a child, children play games. Children play games. Why do we have to play those games? All right, why do we got to play those games? Move away from those games. Don't toy with each other. Again, this is all about the emotion. This is all about the roller coaster that you get on when it comes to this, because you're doing what? You're talking to another person, and this person is what? You're vulnerable with them. Because you could admit to them like, hey, I'm going to tell you something I never told someone else before. Like when I was in 4th grade, I got scared at this major thing and it really bothers me now. That's not something you just tell a random person, but you're trusting this person to kind of hold certain secrets that you have or certain things that you feel. And that's the first person that you want to go to, you want to text, that you want to talk with. Because we have such a this mindset of being vulnerable, guess what? We start to play games. We start to shut them out sometimes. Oh, guess what? I can act tougher. Guess what? I can be bolder in that area. Guess what? If you missed out on my text message 15 minutes ago, you are going to wait 20 more minutes to hear back from me. Why? Because that's just the game that we feel like playing. That's the game that we feel like putting on. You want a successful relationship. You want a successful relationship with another person. Don't play games. Games are for children. Children play games. And what I mean by games is, that type of game. The mind games, the ability to be able to mess with someone's head that you're kind of like, oh my goodness, like where am I going now with this? Oh my goodness, now I got myself in this kind of like deeper trouble because guess what? Now he's acting like this. Now he's doing this. And then you go back the next day and you're kind of talking to your friends and your friends are like, hey, wait a second. How'd it go with talking with that guy last night? Were you texting him? It's complicated. I haven't texted him in like 3 hours. Why? Because he didn't text me for an hour. Whoa, hold on now. Does that sound like a successful communicative relationship? It's tough. We can't play games. All right? And it also comes from a sense of us kind of like thinking like we have to have the most control of the situation. We have to have the most control of when it comes to a relationship. Because guess what? I need to be able to, in my way of like giving myself to another person in the sense of like my emotions and being able to kind of like, be upfront with them and be honest with them and communicating with them, you kind of lose a sense of control that you've given yourself for so long. That the only way to get it back is to play a game with them. Don't play games. Don't play games. Number 6, I put this in right here. This is a famous little phrase that they give in like when it comes to real estate, when it comes to buying homes. Location, location, location. One thing I want to talk about is I think location is critical when it comes to dating. Where are you planning to go on a date? All right, because 6 and number 7 go hand in hand. I'm going to talk about those two really quick. Location, location, and boundaries are a must. Where do you go out on a date? Guys, if you're willing to take a girl on a date, if you want to take a girl out, make sure you show them exactly where you want to go. Hey, I'm thinking about going over here. I'm thinking about going to like Main Event. I'm thinking about going to Dave & Buster's. Do you want to, I'd like to take you on a date. I want to be able to go to dinner at this place. Can we maybe have a chance to go to dinner like you and I together on a date? But be upfront about where you're going to go and be wise about where you're going to go too. Because again, I put these two together for a reason. I don't think that the guy and the girl should be going out together like in a dark area like a movie theaters. Temptations are there. I don't think that's something that should be ideal. I don't think, because guess what? There's little temptations that you might fall into. Got to be careful with those things. Or if it's just you two, like in areas where there's not a lot of population, where there's not a lot of people, then again, temptations start to rise and, different things like that. Or, if you're just saying, can we go out driving? No, that's not a date. Just driving around, whatever. Because again, temptations can lead to other different things. We start to make mistakes because of what? We weren't wise with our plan. Location is a big thing. Guys, tell her where you're going to take her on a date. But be smart, guys, about where you're going to go out on a date. Be smart. Do your research. Know where to go. Know where the best places are to go, especially as what? As Christian couples. I mean, as Christian people, as Christians who are a light of this world, who want to follow Christ, we have to set the best example. Because I guarantee you this, like, and I say this because if I was somebody, who's going out, if I was somebody who's going to take, somebody out, like, let's say Christy, for example, before we got married, if I'm going to take her on a date and we go somewhere that, like, wait a second, oh, man, is he at the bar? Like, wait a second, like, I know, like, he's 21 and over and she's 21 and over, but is it smart for him to go to, like, a little place where, like, there's a big bar right there and, like, he's going to go hang out there, like, they're not drinking, but is that the best environment for them to both be in? Oh, wait a second, maybe not. And guess what? Wait a second, wait. Oh, he's the youth leader at NBC? Like, hold on now. Think about that for just a moment. Or wait a second, I saw them both. They're not married, but like they're in a pretty, like, they're at the top of the movie theaters, at the very top. There's no one sitting up there. It's just them two. Oh, hold on a second. Why are they sitting up there just alone together like that? Be very careful with those things. Location is a very big thing because boundaries are a big thing. Your body is a temple to the Lord. Your body it belongs to the Lord. We have to be very careful with the choices that we make in life, and especially when it comes out on a date. So ladies, make sure that if he's telling you, hey, I'd like to go out on a date, and I'd like to do this, this, and this. Make sure you know. Don't just fall into it because he just told you those 3 things and they sound super nice. But be smart about, like, okay, you can tell him, I'd prefer if we didn't go there just because I don't want anything to happen. I don't want any temptations. I don't want anything to happen. I want to set the best example for others and the best example under Christ. Be honest. And guys, be smart about what you're choosing to do. Be smart about where you're planning to go. It's a very big thing. Again, because we can just get caught up in the idea of just throwing things out there. We're not even realizing the fact that, wait a minute. Like, is that the best place for us to be in? When we're dating, is that the best place for people to see us or for people to know us when it comes to our dating and our relationships? Let's get ready to close out here with 8, 9, and 10. So number 8 is the big one right here, and I'm going to explain this one really quick. You do not need deep friendships with the opposite sex. You do not need deep friendships with the other gender. Guys, ladies, let me explain this. All right? There's nothing wrong with having friends of the opposite gender, okay? You can have friends that are guys and you can have friends that are girls. Okay, you can have friends in your life, but I don't believe it should be very ideal to have a deep friendship, a very, very deep, close friendship with a person who is of the opposite sex, of the opposite gender. Okay, why? Let me explain. Because in the most simplest way possible, you can start throwing emotions out there that aren't there. And you can start kind of tricking your mind to thinking there's something there with that other person when there's not. They're just a friend. But when you start to get closer and closer to that friend, if you develop a deep bond with that friend, emotions can come out. And guess what? You just start to confuse each other. You just start to kind of like, just make each other like feel like, is there really something there? No, it was never meant to be there in the first place. It was just a friend. I'm going to give this example. And I don't know if I ever told this example to Christy really quick, but this happened to me in my life at one point. I'm going to give this example because I thought it was crazy. And it happened to me in high school. So I used to be friends with this one girl in high school. I was a real close friend of mine in high school. All right, and probably from 9th grade, 10th grade, and pretty much all 4 years of high school. She was a real close friend of mine, very nice. She was very smart, very brilliant. Top, very great person. And she had a boyfriend. And she started dating this person in her sophomore year. So I was friends with her in 9th grade, and then in 10th grade she had got a boyfriend. And we still were close friends. Again, this was my closest friend. But what I'm saying is we were very close enough to the point to where I think at some point my junior year that I had heard a rumor going around that this person, her boyfriend, was very upset because I was this close person to her. And it didn't make any sense to me because I was kind of like, wait a second, I'm just her friend, wait a second. And then I had to think about it for just a moment as I kind of reflected on my own, because the guy was very upset. The guy was very, very, very upset. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get into a fight over this. If he were to come up to me, I'm kind of like, there's got to be a way I resolve this, but I'm not going to ruin my career just because of this one guy. And I had to really reflect for several classes. I kind of thought of it, and I'm thinking, why is he so upset? And then it occurred to me, oh, wait a minute. It's because we're very close. It's because we talk all the time. It's because we have all the classes together. It's because we have this friendship. And without knowing it, I wasn't trying to do anything wrong. I wasn't trying to say, oh man, this is the girl that I'm trying to get close to. This is the girl that I want to date. It was a friend of mine. But guess what? What happened there was there's just sometimes too close of a friendship. And then she tried getting into a relationship. And guess what? The guy's instantly like, That's not going to happen. There's only one guy that's going to be in her life, and it's got to be me, because guess what? She already committed to me. She's already dating me. And then, there I am kind of thinking, well, what's going on? And then I realized you can't have that deep, deep, close personal friendship without certain issues happening. And I reflect on that years down the road, and I think about it as I've gotten older, and I kind of think of myself, I'm kind of thinking, you know what? That right there was nothing wrong that we were doing, but the thing is, I can see why you would not have someone so close to you like that without issues happening in your life. Without issues occurring, without something happening where you're kind of like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Like that's not ideal. That's why, you can have, friends that are girls, guys, you can have friends that are girls, or girls, you can have guys that are friends, but they can't get that close to you. They can't get to that level where you're kind of like, oh, wait a second, it kind of looks like something, it kind of sounds like something, it can appear that way to another person. Wait a second, no, it's not, but guess what? At some point, things can get confusing. Again, nothing wrong with having those friendships in your life, because my next point coming up is going to pretty much talk about you having people around you, but you have to be careful with who you're inviting so close into your life. And are they guys or are they girls? Guys, you should be surrounded around, guys that are godly. Ladies, you should be surrounded around, godly women. It shouldn't be that one, you can't use the excuse and say, it's because that one guy, he's like, really good to me. Or guys, it's because she gets me really well. And then you start, but we're only friends. It's going to get very, very messy at some point. Because at some point, if you guys are just thinking on a friendship level, if she invites a guy into her life, or guys, you invite a girl into your life, then it's going to start to get messier, because you want to take that person on a date. They're going to say, but wait a second, he's super close to that one girl. Or wait a second, she's super close to that one guy. I'm confused. Absolutely. It gets complicated. We do not need those deep friendships with the other gender. Number 9, invite outside counsel. That's a big one. Invite outside counsel. Proverbs 15:22. Let's go there really quick. Proverbs 15. Verse 22 says, oh, let me switch that over really quick. It says here, without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established. What that basically is saying is this. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Plans fail because of a lack of counsel. But guess what? With many advisors, with many people giving good advice, with many counselors around you, they can succeed. You need to surround yourself with people who are willing to show that they follow Jesus, that they're followers of Christ, that they want Jesus in their life, that they want to be able to be the light to others, that they want to be willing to put on a display of, this is who I am. I am a Christian. I am a follower of Christ. I am a God-fearing woman. I am a God-fearing man. I am willing to show others that my God is first in my life. Invite people outside of it, and they're going to be the ones to give you the best advice. What should my relationship look like at this point? How should I go about, asking this girl out? How should I go about, this guy asked me out? Should I say yes or no? Like, what does it sound like? The people that you invite into your life are going to be able to give you that best advice. Your parents, your family, your friends that you get close to. Make sure they're people, the right people to go to, so your plans can succeed. So that your ability to be able to be successful in a relationship, to have a good, healthy, godly relationship in the dating world will be good, and not something that you fail at. Invite outside counsel. And number 10, don't be afraid to break up. It's a big one. Don't be afraid to break up. All right, and I'm going to say this right now. This is the reason why. Because we can get ourselves stuck up in a place where we go out on a date, and you're, with the other guy, or guys, you're with the girl, and you're, having a good time, and, you like this, but then at some point it's just something that you feel like, like, I don't believe this is going anywhere, anywhere else. And you got to be willing to say, you know what, there's a way to split up. There's a way to say, this isn't working. No, thank you. There's a way to be able to go up to them and say something like, thank you for your time. Thank you for, you taking an interest in me at this, this one point, for going out on a date with me. But I feel like maybe this is not the best thing for us to be part of, with each other right now. And you have to be honest. You have to be willing to take that mindset. You cannot think that it's the first person you go on a date with. That's the first person you're stuck with. Oh my goodness, the Lord has said, like right now, like I can't, go, multiple dates. So you know what, I'm just going to date the first person I meet. Regardless if it goes well or not, I'm stuck with that person for the rest of my life. No, you are not. If you feel like you've made a bad choice in your life and you feel like you've made just a bad mistake and you're like, no, this is not the place I should be in. This is not the person I should be with. I've thought about it. We've got out on several dates. I'm kind of going to call him my boyfriend. I'm going to call her my girlfriend. And I feel like, this is something that we want to give it a try. And you know what? That's the relationship I'm in. But then at some point, you know that is not the person that you should be with, or you can feel it and and you've been praying about it. You're you have to be willing to kind of separate before things get even worse, because the lack of communication will make things worse. Because other things will make things even harder and harder, and guess what? That's not good. Guess what? That's not what's going to be helping you further down the road. You leaving into a relationship, you dating somebody, you should leave that person better than when they first met you. Messy breakups, girls that go home crying and they have a hard time, guess what? I feel sorry, because what happened? The guy that they were with, no good. Guys, the minute that you start to lose your appetite and you start to just fail and you start to just falter and you start to break down, and because the girl was your world and everything, that girl was not right for you. They need to leave you better than the way they found you. They need to leave you in a better place than when you first started dating them. Because you should be thankful that this person came into your life, because that's how uncomplicated, that's how not complicated this dating can be. That to the point where if it's so good, if it's such a godly, person, and you guys have done everything the right way and you follow these steps and you're doing things in the right way, in the right manner, you're not going to leave this person when they break up with you thinking, man, that hurt really bad. It's a sense of like, well, yeah, I mean, like, we're not together anymore, but I feel like I'm in a better place now because this person helped me grow a little bit more. This person helped me get closer to Christ a little bit more, and I can be thankful for that. And I can be thankful that this person came into my life and just, took me out on a date and showed me, a fun time, a good time in this area. And you know what? It didn't work out with us. So you know what? Like, I'm able to kind of just separate from this and say, you know what? That's good. But now to the point to where the guy breaks up to you, that's it. That's it. Like, I'm done. Or guys, the same thing. Oh my goodness. And then we start to fall into this, next thing you know, you were weighing, 195 pound guys, and then you drop down to like 150 because you weren't eating for the last several months, because that's it, you're like, what happened to you? You lost weight. Not in a good way. I let her get to my head that way. Because I let her get to my, my brain that way. And guess what? Now it hurts too much to even think about food. What? What does she do to you? And ladies, the same thing, to the point to where you're acting a certain way and your brain is spiraling down, and you just start to go into the same thing too. What did he do to you? If it's someone who's willing to say, I put away childish things and I'm going to act like an older person now, they shouldn't do that to you. It shouldn't be that way. As we begin to wrap up, as we begin to close this out, this is pretty much like where we're finishing up our series. I want to make this very, very clear again, like I said from the beginning. I want you all to have successful dating relationships if you don't have one already. And I know when I'm talking to those in middle school, when it comes to those in high school, when it comes to those that are there, you will find that at some point, if you're in prayer to the Lord about it, if you're willing to follow these steps and think, when I get to that point in my life, when I get to a point in my life where I feel like I am no longer that child and I'm able to put myself into the adult role, then I want to be able to have that successful relationship. And for the young adults, those that are in, here and you drive and you're able to, you're working already and you're pretty much, an independent person outside of you just, you haven't bought your own home yet, you're still living at home with your parents, but there's a lot more independence than a middle schooler and high school would have. I want to tell you the same thing. You should be in big prayer right now for who God can bring into your life, and you should be in much bigger prayer to say, I want to show all these characteristics like we've talked about that I'm ready to date, and I want to be able to make dating uncomplicated like this. I want to be able to find the one guy who's willing to come up to me and ask me on a date. And guys, I want to have the strength, I want to have the courage, I want to have the leadership to be able to go and ask a girl out on a date. I want to be able to do that. As we begin to close, as we begin to wrap up, I want us to make these things very clear. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be taboo. It doesn't have to be you can't talk about that here in church. Like really, like you're going to talk to kids about, like, you're going to talk to a youth group, you're going to talk to young adults about dating. Yes. Because it's happening out there and you're going to get it from somewhere else. It's better to get it here in the church. It's better to hear it here from a group of like-minded people that are going to help you find an uncomplicated relationship one day, rather than the heartbreak and the hurt that you can experience outside there in the world. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we want to thank you for this time. I want to thank you, dear Lord, for just this message. Lord, I want to thank you for 1 Corinthians 13. I want to thank you that, Lord, you have given us your word. And so right now, dear Lord, as we begin to close out on our relationship series, Lord, as we begin to close out on these things, I want to be able to pray right now, dear Lord, for our youth group, for our young adults, dear Lord, for those that are looking for one day to say, I want to be able to pray for my relationship in the future. I want to be able to pray for that person that can come into my life. Lord, I want to lift them up to you right now, dear Lord, that we would be in constant, truthful, honest, intentional prayer and saying, Lord, I want to be a godly person for that other person. I want to be a godly man for that girl. And ladies, I want to be a godly woman for that man one day. Lord, I pray that you would lead us to see that it is not complicated, that you did not make this complicated for us. You did not make this hard for us, Lord, that you showed us that this can be something that if we follow you, if we follow your word, if we follow what it means to be a Christian in this world, that we can make it uncomplicated, that we can have a successful, good dating life, dear Lord, and be in a relationship, Lord, with somebody who is a light to this world, who is a follower of you. So, Lord, as we begin to close out tonight, I just want to be in prayer right now, dear Lord, that you would guide us, that you would speak to us, that you would speak to everyone in here, dear Lord, when it comes to their mindset in this area, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.